You know, you turn on the news, you scroll through your feed, and it's just one thing after another, right? Conflict, crisis. It really feels like the world is on the edge. But what if all this instability wasn't random? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty fascinating perspective, a guide for Christians that looks at current events as signs that were actually foretold in biblical prophecy. And that leads us right to the central question this guide is trying to tackle. When the world feels this overwhelming, what is a person of faith supposed to do? The source material offers a framework for how to respond that doesn't start with fear, but actually starts with faith.
Okay, so let's get into it. Part 1 is called A World on Edge. And before we can even get to the message of hope, the guide first paints a pretty stark picture of the problem. It argues that we're living in a world that's basically teetering on the edge of some major upheaval.
And this isn't just some vague feeling of dread, you know? The source points to actual, specific geopolitical hotspots, from the war in Europe to all the simmering tensions in the Middle East, as real-world evidence that nations are rising against nations, which is exactly how the prophecies described it.
So the guide kind of breaks this global instability down into 3 main buckets. Beyond the obvious geopolitical conflicts, it also points to economic fragility. We're talking inflation, broken supply chains, all that stuff, and this wave of political unrest that seems to be sweeping across continents.
And this right here is the absolute key insight from the source material. These are not just a bunch of separate, isolated crises happening at the same time. The whole argument is that they are all interconnected, like pieces of a single, much larger prophetic puzzle that is unfolding right in front of us.
All right, Section 2, Interpreting the Signs. So if all these events are connected, what's the bigger picture? This is where the guide really pivots from just observing what's happening in the world to interpreting it all through the specific lens of biblical prophecy. Okay, this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows 2 totally different ways of looking at the exact same chaos. Where a modern news report just sees a series of political and economic crises, this guide sees the fulfillment of ancient prophecy. It's the same set of events, just viewed through a completely different lens. And the key to this interpretation, according to the guide, is found right here in Matthew 24. The idea isn't just that these things were predicted, but that believers were specifically told not to be alarmed by them because they are seen as a necessary part of a much larger divine plan.
So to really drive this idea home, the guide uses this incredibly powerful metaphor. It calls all this chaos birth pains. The idea is that the wars and instability we see today aren't the main event itself. No, they're more like the early, painful contractions that signal something new and something hugely significant is on the verge of being born.
Okay, so if these are the birth pains, what exactly are they leading to? Well, according to this guide, it's the emergence of something the Bible apparently prophesied a long time ago, a unified, one-world governmental system. The argument here is that what we see as a modern push for globalism, with organizations like the World Economic Forum or the UN, is actually setting the stage for what the Book of Revelation calls the beast system. This is interpreted as a coming one-world government that will have a level of control we've never seen before.
And this global system, as the prophecy goes, won't just run itself. It'll be led by a single, incredibly charismatic figure known as the Antichrist. The guide lays out his rise to power in a few key steps. First, he'll promise global peace, exactly what a chaotic world wants to hear. Then, he'll use that promise to deceive the masses, consolidate his power, and only then reveal his true, tyrannical goals.
And that brings us to the first major piece of practical advice from the source. Given this whole prophecy about a great deceiver on the rise, the number 1 warning for believers is to stay vigilant and spiritually sharp. So we're back to Matthew 24, and this time the focus is on deception. The guide says this warning isn't just about some guy showing up and claiming to be the Messiah. It's about a much broader ideology of deception, any system or philosophy that promises peace and security but leaves God out of the equation. Okay, so what does that actually look like? How can you spot this deception in the real world? Well, the guide gives us 4 pretty clear signs to watch out for. A growing push for global governance, so-called prophets promising a kind of shallow, false unity, leaders who offer solutions to the world's problems that intentionally exclude God, and finally, an increasing pressure on people to trade their faith for a feeling of security. And that brings us to the real heart of it all. Section 5. A hope beyond the chaos. After all the problems, prophecies, and warnings, this is the source's actual guide for how a person can live with hope right in the middle of all this. The bedrock of this hope, the thing that holds it all together, is found in verses like Romans 8:28.
The core belief here is in God's sovereignty. This idea that even in what looks like complete and utter chaos, a divine and good purpose is being worked out, that nothing is happening by accident.
So this all comes together in some really practical, actionable steps. It's about what you do. As you can see here, it's a mix of things. Stand firm, trust the plan, keep your mind sharp with Scripture, and be discerning. But the ultimate focus, the source argues, the thing that really changes everything, is to fix your eyes on the future hope of Christ's return. That's the key to trading fear for hope.
So when you boil it all down, the ultimate message here really isn't about fear. It's not doom and gloom at all. Actually, it's the opposite. It's a call to see all these troubling events as a sign that a promised redemption is getting closer, which turns something that causes anxiety into a real reason for hope.
And that's where we'll leave it. The guide we've just walked through offers up faith and prophecy as a powerful anchor. But in a world that feels like it's spinning faster every day, it leaves us all with a pretty important question to think about. Where is your anchor?